Hi, everybody. This is Cynthia Kane, and I am a professor and instruction and assessment librarian at Emporia State University with the Libraries and Archives. However, I'm also the SLIM librarian liaison, so I am the library liaison for your department. In this video, I'm going to be doing a quick overview of creating something called a LibGuide. A LibGuide is actually a system that can be used to create online research or reference guides for a number of SLIM courses. And many of you might be required or asked to create some type of online reference guide for a SLIM class. In just a moment, I'm going to be going over to emporiaslim.libapps.com, and I'm going to be showing you how you access this system for SLIM LibGuides. Now, your SLIM professor will provide you with the login information that you need to access this site. LibGuides is actually a part of the overall SLIM LibApps site. Sometimes we do get questions about your login information to provide it or reset it. I should note that the WAW library staff cannot provide or reset your login information. However, we can help you with any general LibGuides questions on setting one up, how to add video, how to add images, and so forth. We're happy to answer those questions. So at this point, we're going to go over to the SLIM LibApps site. And this is what this will look like. Now, I already have a LibApps account for the SLIM LibApps system, so I'm going to go ahead and log into LibApps. And at this point, the next step that you would want to do is to click on LibGuides under the admin interface. And this will take you into the SLIM LibGuides system. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, this is all very well and good, but I really don't even know what a LibGuide looks like or how it should be structured. So at this point, I'm going to go over to the library's website at emporia.edu/library. And I'm going to scroll down to Research Guides. The library has its own LibGuide system, and we as librarians have created a number of LibGuides as subject-specific or course-specific guides. So you're welcome to go over here and take a look to see what we have, and that can kind of give you an overview of what a LibGuide can look like for an academic library. Now, in reality, LibGuides can be tailored for public libraries, academic libraries, all types of audiences. I'm going to scroll down to one called Art Resources for Research that my colleague Bethany Odell created. Bethany is the library liaison for the Department of Art, and so she created this guide for undergraduate students and graduate students in art to help them learn how to do research through the library's webpage, such as how to use the library catalog, how to find articles and books, and she's even done subcategories or subpages for different parts of art, such as ceramics, sculpture, engraving, and so forth. And you see that she's provided some other tabs to help students find information, in this case, how to find free image sources if they're creating a website or writing a research paper in art. So that can give you a start on what a guide should look like. At the end of this tutorial, I'm going to show you another research guide that I created that's called Learning How to Create a LibGuide. And in that one, this is going to supplement what we're doing in this tutorial. And I also have a link there that you can use to find other LibGuides that other libraries have done as well. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and create a guide. So I clicked on Create Guide. I'm going to start fresh. And down here, you always do need to name your guide. Now, this doesn't have to be anything that is terribly creative. Basically, you're just going to call a guide a particular name. So this could just be resources for whatever audience you're doing or whatever topic you're covering. I'm going to do one that's called Psychology Resources. And I could always rename this later on if I decided that I wanted to give that a different name. I could put a description down here if I wanted, and I could say if I wanted that this guide is for undergraduate and graduate psychology students at Emporia State University. A description will help your audience know what this guide is all about and then who it is actually intended for. Now, you could leave a guide as general purpose, or you can change it. I'm going to change this to a subject guide. And at this point, I'm going to click on Create Guide. Now, this doesn't look very exciting right now, but that's okay because now I'm going to start adding content. And I'm going to show you how you can add different types of content depending on what you want to do. So you'll notice that a default here is a top box with different columns. I'm going to click on top box, add top box, and this is going to be a welcome box. LibGuides tends to use the term of boxes for the content that you're going to put into your LibGuide itself. And then these tabs over here are actually called pages as far as LibGuides is concerned. Now I'm going to do something else right now before I go any farther. Anybody who has the URL for a LibGuide can actually look at it without having to log in. But you notice that this isn't exactly a friendly URL. If I click on this pencil icon, I can change the last part of this URL. And I'm just going to name this psychology. And now that's a much more friendly URL that I can send to people. It's also much easier to remember. So you might want to do that with your guide. We're going to click now on Add and Reorder. LibGuides will let you add a lot of different types of content to your guide without having to know really anything about HTML or coding or anything like that. So this is a very nice thing. Usually we'll do rich text HTML. And the rich text HTML will let you type in text. I'm going to show you something here though. If I just start typing in a sample block of text, notice how tiny that is. You can change the font. I like to use either Tahoma or Verdana, but you can use whatever you want, and then you can change the size. I usually like to go at least to 14 so that it's a little bit more readable on different screens. And at this point now, I could just go ahead and type, welcome to this guide. It is intended to be a start on research resources for psychology, undergraduate, and graduate students. Now, again, I'm not being terribly creative here. I just want to show you what you can do and then how you would get a start. So now that has welcome. I could add different boxes down here and then different types of information similar to the one that we just looked at with the art resources that Bethany created. So let's go down here to add box. And I'm going to call this one books. If I go to add and reorder now, I can click on a book from the catalog. And the nice thing about this is that I could look for a book on psychology that would be from the library catalog, maybe featuring a new book, and that could also be an ebook, or I could find books maybe that the library doesn't own, but that happen to be available from places such as Amazon. So I'm going to close this for just a second, open another tab, and I'm going to go back to Amazon now, because I wanted to show you how easy this is to do. I could also do this with the Discovery Search catalog. And I'm going to go to Handbook of Psychological Assessment, 6th edition. And again, I'm looking right now at Amazon. And I'm going to scroll down here for the information about the book. And I am going to copy the ISBN, go back over here, go to Books again, and paste that ISBN and save this. And this is the information that was pulled in from Amazon. Again, I could do the same thing with the book from the library catalog, but you see how easy that is to do, and it looks nice at the same time. Back up here on layout, you can change the layout of the columns. Right now, this is set at 3 columns at the bottom of the LibGuide, and the 25, 50, and 25 refer to the width of the columns. I'm just going to leave this as this is now. I want to show you next how to add a new page. We'll click on the plus sign. We do have to call this a page name. So I'm going to call this one Databases. And again, this is the default for the layout, but I could go back over here and I might want to change this now to 2 columns. So now I have 2 columns here. I don't have to add a top box if I don't want to. Let's add a box here. And I'm going to call this one Freely Available Websites. Again, we'll do add and reorder. And this time I'm going to go to link. I can go back over to my tab here. I'm using Google Chrome, so I'm already in Google. I actually am now going to search for American Psychological Association. Because this is a website that I would want psychology students to be aware of. And I can just copy the website address, go back over here, paste the URL, American Psychological Association. I would strongly encourage you on this window target. This simply means that when someone clicks on the URL, that it will open in a new window. And then that way you're not having your patrons try to click back and forth and navigate back and forth with your LibGuide. I like to have things open in a new window. I could add a description here. Is the primary association for psychologists, students, and related audiences. That's not the best description in the world, but again, I just want to show you how you can do this. Now, you can have this description displayed beneath the item title, or it can hover over an item title. I'm just going to leave it now to display beneath the item title, and I'm going to save it. And now you see how that looks. So you can see how easy it is to add website addresses. You just do add or reorder. And in this case, you're going to go to link. There's a link here that says database. Don't use this one, though, in the Slim LibGuide system. The reason is that in the library system, we can use the databases portion to link directly to our library-related databases, but that's within the library's LibGuide system. That actually does not work for the Slim LibGuide system. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. But I could go over here. I could still go ahead and call this library databases. And if I went to add or reorder, I could go back to link again, and I could call this one Psych Info. I would recommend here adding just the library's address. I'm not linking directly to Psych Info because this is not going to work in the Slim LibGuide system. We'll put a proxy here. I could put a description of Psych Info, but then in the description, I could say on the library's webpage, click on the databases link icon, and then go to the letter P for Psych Info. So it's sort of a workaround, but this is a way that you can actually feature our library's databases and then have them available in your LibGuide if you're going to feature any databases from William Allen White Library. So again, if I clicked on this, this would take me to the library's webpage, and then I have the description here. And of course, I would add a little bit more information about what Psych Info is all about. Let's do another page. The next part I want to show you, again, you can change the layout if you want. I'm going to change that one again to 50-50 so that the two columns are equal. You can actually add videos, which are, I think, a very interesting way of jazzing up your LibGuide a little bit. To do that, we'll go back to Add Box. And I'm going to call this one Psych Info Tutorial. And I'm going to go back over now to a tab that I already have open. In this case, you could go to YouTube and I'm going to search for a Psych Info tutorial, and there it is. And you might find a video that somebody else has done, which is very good and then very appropriate for your topic. Again, I'm just using Psych Info as an example. I'm actually going to pull this one because this is from APA Publishing Training. So this is a video tutorial about Psych Info using the author affiliation field that came directly from APA. That might be rather interesting to look at. I'm going to stop this. I should go back and stop. And under Share, I could copy the YouTube link, but I'm going to do something else. LibGuides makes it very easy to embed videos from YouTube or from other video sources if you can get the embed code. So we're going to copy the embed code, go back over here, add and reorder. And now we're going to go to Media Widget. And I'm going to call this one Psych Info Author Affiliation Fields. And then I'm just going to paste the embed code. I'm going to have this at the top of the box. See how easy that was? Again, you can copy and paste a YouTube link, but that just means that your audience is going to have to click on the link as an extra click. I rather like to embed videos, so I do prefer to do it this way. Let's click back home here for just a second. At any point, if you want to preview your guide, click on this little eye up here, and this will show you what your guide looks like to your audience so far. And if you don't like the way something looks, that gives you an opportunity to go back to your edit screen and change anything that you would like. I'm going to do one more page. And I could call this additional help. Again, as you see, I just keep adding different tabs or different pages, as many as I need. I'm not going to change the layout here. I just want to use this as one more example of something that you can do with LibGuides. If you want to add an image or a photo, the first thing you're going to do is go here to Rich Text HTML, which is probably your most versatile box because you can do many things in it. This is where you can put in your text. You can add different links. There are a lot of different things that you can do. We're going to click now on image. In LibGuides, it's probably going to be your best way of adding an image if you have an image that's already on your computer, and then you can browse your server, basically browse your computer, and then upload an image. I would strongly encourage you to look for Creative Commons images. Look for images that are freely available online and that you do have permission to use. And you can always ask us at the library if you have any questions about how to find freely available images under Creative Commons licenses. We're happy to help you with that. I'm going to click on Browse Server. These are, as you can see, some images that I've already uploaded. And I'm just going to go ahead and use one of these as an example. This is where you would upload a new image from your computer, and then it goes into something called your LibAds Image Manager library. And since I've already uploaded one, I'm just going to go ahead and click on this. And we'll see if it decided to go in. I'm going to try it this way. There we are. So I had to grab the URL for the one that I had already uploaded. And you can see that's kind of large right now. I'm going to save and close. That's not the best resolution, as you can see, but that's okay because you can fix that. We'll go back over here under Edit. And go to Image Properties. I right-clicked for Image Properties. And I'm going to change this. And now that looks much better. So again, you can always edit and then change the properties and see how that looks. So to wrap up, right now, your LibGuide is unpublished. What you will wind up doing for your Slim class is once you're ready to change the status and share, you're going to change this to either published or private. Private means that only those who have the URL for your LibGuide can see it. If you publish it, that means that everyone in the SLIM LibGuide system will be able to see it. So I would check with your SLIM instructor just to see what they would prefer. I'm going to go ahead and publish this as private and save, save, and now I will close. And again, anybody that has this URL, if I copy and paste it, will be able to view it. We're going to go back over here. I do have a LibGuide that I'm going to go back to now. It's libguides.emporia.edu/creating. And this guide contains everything that I've gone over in this video, plus other details for more advanced work with LibGuides. And I'll go ahead and show this to you now. Everything here on the LibGuide structure, the embedding that I talked about, adding images, and finally, more help. I showed you how you can look at LibGuides that we have done here at the William Allen White Library, but another link I have is community.libguides.com. And I would strongly recommend that you look at this link because it will show you different types of LibGuides that have been created by public libraries, academic libraries, special libraries for a range of topics like National Library Week, Banned Books Week, just a lot of different things. And this can give you other ideas. They have some recent picks. Here's most popular nursing guides. So if you looked at, for example, American social movements, they got very creative with theirs. And you can take a look and see what other people have done. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, this is Cynthia Kane. You can always call the reference desk at the library, and you can also email us if you have any questions or any concerns about the structure of LibGuides itself. We can be reached at 620-341-5207, and you can also email us at libref01@emporia.edu. Good luck.